Hey everyone, we are live, we are recording, and you're in the right spot for today's webinar, 5 ways to manage your online reputation and handle your reviews. My name is Jeffrey Brown and I'm joined by Elena Lean, Senior Marketing Manager from TapHunter. Hey Elena.
Hi, nice to see everybody. Virtually, of course.
Yes, virtually, and we're so excited that all of you decided to spend an hour with us learning 5 ways, like I said, to manage your online reputation and handle your reviews for your bar or your restaurant or your brewery. Now, before I turn it over to Elaine to talk about her role and what she does at TapHunter, I want to talk a little bit about Main Street Hub and what we do here. So, like I said, my name is Jeffrey Brown. I'm part of our local outreach team here at Main Street Hub, headquartered in Austin, Texas. So my job is actually doing live webinars just like this one, or I get to travel across the United States, hitting cities like Asheville, Nashville, Orlando, Miami, Atlanta, Georgia, Austin, and Dallas, Texas. And I get to engage with business owners just like all of you and educate you about how you should be using your social media sites, whether that's reputation management on TripAdvisor, Yelp, or Google, or whether deciding what content to post on your Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram pages. Now, Main Street Hub, who don't know who we are, we've been around for a little over 8 years, and we are 100% do-it-for-you service, helping over 10,000 local businesses across the United States, managing social media sites like Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and your favorite review sites like Yelp, Google, and TripAdvisor. Now, our services do it for you, which means that we use tools developed by our world-class engineers and designed with the needs of small business owners in mind. So this is probably one of my favorite parts, is that we've written over 10 million posts. Yes, I said that right, 10 million posts. So that's a ton of data and a lot of insight that we've gained, and I'm so happy I get to share that with all of you today. And now I'm going to hand it over to Elena to talk about herself and what she does at TapHunter. Elena?
All right. Hi, everybody. It's Elena. I'm TapHunter's marketing manager. Many of you, I'm looking at some familiar faces and names here in the chat bot, so I know are already familiar with TapHunter, but we've been around since 2012, offering a set of menuing and marketing tools designed specifically for bars and restaurants. We offer everything from digital signage to web menus to print menus to review management tools, which of course tie in here, social media and inventory. So really a complete package to make managing and marketing a busy bar or restaurant easier. We also have a popular consumer app that some of you may be familiar with as well, called TapHunter, that lets people search for their favorite beverages. And I actually have an exciting announcement to make as well. Just went live this morning. So what do I do? Many things, including rebrands. We just announced that our TapHunter for Business tools will be renamed Evergreen starting in early 2019. So when you're done with the webinar, you can head over to our website and read the post, but it's a very exciting announcement. Yeah. So I think we can move into the agenda. Like Jeffrey said, we are covering 5 tips for review and reputation management. So we'll kick things off, Jeffrey will kick things off rather, with ways to grow your online reputation and attract millennial customers, those millennials. Next, we'll move to how to create a successful reputation for your brand. Then we'll move to kind of the plan and strategy for responding to reviews, touch on negative reviews, everyone's favorite, right? And then we'll end with some thoughts on using Instagram for reviews. Don't forget, follow us on Twitter. Here are our handles at Main Street Hub at TapHunter, and post using the hashtag right here. So hashtag 5reviewtips. And I hear some cheering. I love it. Don't forget to mute yourself if you have a mic going. And with that, I'll pass it over to Jeffrey.
Sorry about that. That was on my end. I'm terribly sorry.
Oh, no way!
No, that is my fault.
No problem.
Like Elena said, thank you all for being here and going through 5 great tips for you all today. Also, Caroline, we have our own Caroline, our brand and communications manager, in the chat box today, dropping helpful links in the chat box to great blogs that we've posted about reputation management for bars and restaurants. So be on the lookout for that. Everyone say hey to Caroline. Now, also, if you have any specific questions about your social media sites, whether that's TripAdvisor, how do you claim that page? How do you make sure you're responding to reviews properly? Or how do I just make sure that I'm doing all this social media stuff right? Don't forget to click this link right here. I'm dropping in the chat box right now. If you have any questions, feel free to fill that out, and one of our marketing executives will get right in touch with you. Yes, everyone say hey to Caroline. Now,
Hi.
see, now I'm going to go ahead and start kicking things off with how to grow your online reputation and be attractive to millennial customers. So one of the first things you want to do, whether you're setting up your review sites or that's you getting engaged with your customers on social media, one of the first things you want to do is make sure that your sites, whether that's review sites or social media sites, those pages are claimed and they're optimized. So before you can make the most of your restaurant or your bar's profiles on review sites like your Yelp, your Google, your TripAdvisor page, you need to claim these pages. So you need to make sure that, first of all, your pages are claimed. When you look to the right of your business name in your Yelp, Google, or TripAdvisor page, um, does it say right there that you've claimed that page? So you definitely want to make sure that that page is claimed for your business. So once your page is claimed, that means everyone that's searching for a restaurant, they're searching for a bar, and if it's a brewery, when they search in those, they put these key items in their cell phone or online on their computer, they're able to find your business. So you definitely want to make sure that your review sites are optimized and claimed. Next, you definitely want to make sure that the contact info is consistent across all of your sites. So what does that mean? You definitely want to make sure you have the right number on there for every single one of your sites. You want to make sure that you have the right hours, the right email address if you take reservations, or if you use email a little bit more than you pick up your phone. So you definitely want to make sure that all of these are consistent throughout everything that you're posting on your social media and your review sites. And then next, you want to start setting up monitoring to then turning on your social media. So once your review sites are there, so you can have a great reputation online, start to build that reputation, especially for your millennial customers, because this is where they're going to turn to. When consumers walk into your restaurant, they walk into your bar, they walk into your brewery, 9 times out of 10, they're going to be on their cell phone. And no, they're not ignoring you, they're not ignoring your staff. They're just clearly checking into your business, letting all their friends and family know where they are. They're taking pictures and tagging your business in a post and sharing that on Instagram. Or they're doing a live video from Facebook and telling everyone how excellent the beer and the food is at this certain bar or restaurant. So whenever you see a consumer on their phone, don't always think they're ignoring you, but do know that they are online getting checked into your business and telling all their friends and family where they are and where they're having a great meal or where they're having a great drink at. Now, you definitely want to make sure that you're using Facebook for your business. Yes, I said it, Facebook. This is not all just about review sites. We're going to be definitely diving into your social media sites, but you definitely want to make sure you're paying close attention to your social media sites as well. Now, when Facebook users scroll through their newsfeed, sometimes all it takes to get them to visit your restaurant is seeing a post about your world famous chicken praline or your happy hour specials. So nearly 75% of Facebook users make decisions on which restaurants or bars to visit based on their photos and comments they've seen in their newsfeed. Now, I love how great of an example Last Resort Grill did with their cover photo and their logo on Facebook. So one of the ways that you can use Facebook, especially with those millennial customers, even Generation Z, baby boomers, pretty much anyone, is you want to make sure you have an attractive photo. And you're also using your logo consistently as well. So this is a great thing. So like Last Resort did, they took a picture from above, showing off the great food they're showing off for their business. More importantly, they're showcasing their logo right here. You want to make sure across all of your social media sites, even your review pages, that you have your logo somewhere so that everyone can see. That way everyone can know exactly who you are and what your business is all about. That way they can interpret that brand reputation, also brand recognition as well. So not only are you building up your reputation by being consistent with your logo, you definitely want to make sure that you're being even more consistent by having that across all the pages as well. Tony, if you're not seeing images right now, you might want to try refreshing your page or leaving the room and then coming back into the room as well. Okay, sorry about that, everyone. I'm getting over here. Okay, is everyone seeing it now? Sorry about that. So I was seeing it on my end, wasn't seeing anything. Okay, sorry about that. Yes, I know I'm seeing it on my end, so I'm not really sure what that is. I'm sorry, everyone. Yes, that is right. One of the images for Facebook business hours. Okay, okay. I'm hearing it's up, and I'm hearing some people are still seeing the white screen. Everyone, don't forget, I will be sending out a copy of this as well. Everything on my end, I am seeing the pictures. So even if you aren't able to see them, do know that you will be able to see them through the recording. I am terribly sorry. And still let me know if you can or cannot see them. That way, I can know in the future about these technical difficulties as well. Now, one great thing, like you're seeing in this photo, if you are able to see it, is how you can use Facebook for your business. And one key thing is making sure that you have your address, zip code, business hours, and you also want to make sure that you have the right website, what your restaurant is classified under, just like American restaurant, New American, Southern restaurant. But the great thing that I love about Facebook and what it does for your audience and what it can help for your brand and reputation is the crazy times that you're busy. So are you less busy from 12 to 3? Are you more busy from 6 to 9 or 5 to 9? These are important times, and this is really important for your audience to make sure that they can see exactly what's going on and exactly when they should be coming in or the best time to make a reservation. Now, I also love this from Sonia Royster. She said, celebrated our mom's 70th birthday party. Great food. Our waiter TJ took excellent care of us. Great place. We highly enjoyed. Now, this is just a simple review left by a customer. More importantly, this is a great review where they shared a lot of great pictures. So this is a great chance for you to also use your Facebook page, get engaged with your audience members, ask them to use those photos for user-generated content. More importantly, it just gets you in touch with your audience, making sure that you have a great brand reputation and they're aware of your brand, and that you're also getting engaged with them as well online, just like you would in person. Now, one great thing that I do love about Facebook and that you can do pretty much across all your social media review sites is actually give a little bit of background about your business. This is something that's real and authentic, not only for millennials, but for pretty much every consumer that you come across and you talk to. They want to really know what your business is all about. When did it start? Why did you start it? What did this old building used to be? How did you come up with your name? And I love how Last Resort really took it to home, where they really explained from where their business started, from what the building used to be, all up to present day. So if you definitely want to strike a chord with millennials or any type of your consumers, definitely make sure you're giving the background history of your business on social media to get more engagement from them as well. Now, when you're thinking about your audience, you want to think about them in a lot of different ways, especially with your millennials. Now, with your millennials, one of their biggest things you're going to be most concerned about, of course, is Instagram, but also about brunch. And you're probably thinking, well, brunch, everyone goes to brunch, not just millennials. But millennials have really made it more than just something that you eat on Friday or Saturday and Sunday. It's becoming a trend. When you go to brunch, do you take pictures? Do you tag the business that you visited that you're eating at? So I love this example with the Ivy Buckhead right over here. They do a great job at really highlighting their brunch specials, but also more importantly, letting people know they do serve brunch. So the Ivy Buckhead said, brunch is the most important meal of the day, especially before a day full of football and football. So American football, English football, this is really great. And the great thing that they're doing right here about showcasing their brunch, more importantly, is they're also highlighting that they're going to be playing football as well. So if you're a bar, you're a brewery, you're a restaurant, and you're going to have the game on, whether that's a Saturday or a Sunday, let your audience know and also let them know what they can have when they visit, whether that's a flight of beer, a great tasting brunch menu, or some great cocktails they can enjoy. Now, over here in this middle example, right here with Twitter, with Terrapin Beer Company, I know we had a few breweries here, so I definitely wanted to make sure I included some great examples for breweries as well. Brew with a view, where do you take Terrapin? And I love this example. I really think this is really important. If you're a brewery, or even if you're a restaurant or you're a bar, and you have beers, of course, that you're selling at your brewery, or if you have merchandise like a hat, a t-shirt, Start a contest. Start something on Twitter, Instagram, where people are going to different places and they're taking a picture with your logo or your merchandise in it. And this is just a really great thing to get engagement from your audience, but more importantly, build up that great reputation on social media as well. Now, in this last example with Pig and Jelly Jar holiday, this is a really great example. Wherever you're feeling this way, we've got the cure. Aiken for Bacon, Salt Lake City, Odin holiday. And this is just a really great way to make sure that you're just showing great customer service online, but more importantly, you're just getting engaged with your customers, especially your millennial customers. And as you can see, it got 17 shares, 17 likes, 1 comment, and 1 share. So it's not really all about the shares, it's not about the comments, but what you really want to get out of these posts, and the reason why you want to make sure you're appealing to all your audiences, is you want to make sure you're just getting engagement. So that's your customers talking with you, engaging, asking questions. That's the most important thing that you want to get out of your social media sites, is that main engagement component that making sure you're varying your post is really going to get for you. Now, you definitely want to make sure that you're not only taking advantage of Facebook, but also Instagram. So first, on my left-hand side right here, where you see just a collection of pictures, this is Bar Mercado's grid. Now, one of the really important things that you want to make sure that you're doing on your Instagram page is making sure you have a cohesive and consistent grid on your Instagram page. This is really important. As you can see, you can kind of see they have an overall theme with the fried food, the dark poppy colors, and also the pink. You see the pink in pretty much almost every photo that you look at, and that's one of their signature colors, but also their brand colors as well. So making sure you're really working in your brand colors, really making sure you're staying true to your business and you're staying authentic is what's going to really set you apart from your competition and make sure that you're getting engaged with millennials as well. Now, before you even get into the grid and before you even start posting photos, you want to make sure the information above your grid is the most important information. I'm talking about your handle name. Do you have any specials? If you're a bar or brewery or a restaurant, you better be sure that your events, your specials that you have should definitely be somewhere up here. This is one of the first places they're going to look because sometimes you can't find it online. You can't find it on Yelp. So where's one place as a consumer that you're going to turn to? Your social media sites. So this is where your stories and your highlights come in, where as a millennial, your customers are using these a lot. And highlights, you can save these stories for more than 24 hours. It can stay on your page for as long as you would like. So if you have long-running specials for this season, post those in your highlights. Let your audience know so you won't have to be responding back to the same questions. Hey, what are your Christmas specials? What are your New Year's Eve specials? All this is right here, and these circles right here for your highlights to keep your audience informed. Now, you also definitely want to make sure that you're taking advantage of using hashtags as well. So you definitely want to make sure that you're using relative hashtags in your caption. It's going to help you get new eyes on your business's Instagram content and will help boost your engagement as well. Now, I love what Bar Mercado did. If you're struggling to find an Instagram hashtag or something to come with your business, make your business name into a hashtag. But if you want it to catch on and for it to start being consistent, you have to start using it consistently. So as you can see, Bar Mercado has worked it into their post enough that it's become consistent not only with their business, but also their followers as well. And I love this example. Once again, another brunch post about Sunday brunch mood. And they actually took this photo from one of their patrons that visited their restaurant. So Sunday brunch mood, hazy delight. And as you can see, they gave the person credit right here. And they also used their hashtag Bar Mercado ATL, Eat Drink CHG, hashtag Krog Street Market. So anything your followers would find interesting, like these hashtags I just listed, or anything you think might help your post reach more people on your platform, that can be hashtags specific to your local area, just like they're using, or hashtags that are widely used on the platform. So it's also a good tip to integrate these trending hashtags, and you definitely want to make sure that you're using them at the very end of your caption or at the very first comment on your post. If you want to add several hashtags to your caption, make sure to add a period, then hit enter, then a period, then hit enter at least 3 times so that users don't see those hashtags unless they click more. And Bar Mercado does a great job at actually putting these in by putting it right here, right after they gave the credit to the person that actually took the photo, making sure they saw those hashtags as soon as this post was done. So you definitely want to make sure you're working those in as well. So now I'm going to turn it over to Elena to talk about how to strategize and respond to reviews. Elena?
Sounds good. Thanks, Jeffrey. So I think it goes without saying that everybody on this webinar has a lot on your plate as a bar or restaurant manager, but we still all know that reviews are important when it comes to attracting customers to your bar and even retaining and keeping the customers that you have. So it's important to have a game plan so that you can ensure you're being efficient with your time when it comes to responding, but also that you are responding regularly and effectively so that you can use these review and reputation sites to your advantage. So why are reviews important? Quite simply, people look at them. According to a recent Bright Local survey, responding to reviews is more important than ever. 30% of customers actually name a business responding to their reviews as key when they're evaluating and judging a business. So this means someone thinking about where they're going to celebrate their birthday, what brewery will they choose? 30% of them are directly looking at the business's response to reviews on the site. So it's important to be active and engaged. When you're making your own plan for how your bar or restaurant is going to respond to reviews, it's important to gather intel, as we say here. So the first and basic step is to just take a look. Where are your reviews coming from? Where are you listed? We all know Yelp, Google, and Facebook, and really we all know all the lists here, but it's important to kind of take a look around the internet and see where your business is appearing and what the engagement is on these different platforms. So certainly, again, Yelp, Google, Facebook, those are typically the big kahunas in the review management space and where you'll be getting most of your reviews. But in certain markets and certain areas, you might find that Foursquare, Yahoo, Twitter, even Instagram is a very important source of reviews for your business. So it's important to have an idea of what's out there and where your customer and prospective customer base is so that you can engage. I also threw Glassdoor on there. This of course, would apply more to larger or even chain organizations, but bear in mind that Glassdoor is a review site of sorts. Employees leave reviews, their experience working at your business. So just bear in mind that it could be that you have consumers passing over to Glassdoor reviews, and it's important to, again, have a good idea of where you're showing up more holistically. Now, ideally, you would be prioritizing every single review site where you have reviews, but if time is an issue, and there's a number of different spots where you have engagement, use the data, where you get the most frequent, where you have the most posts, what shows up when you Google your business's name to help you prioritize. Because at the end of the day, it's important to be consistent with something rather than to throw up your hands and not do anything. So once you have monitored and kind of gathered all of that intelligence, then you need to make a plan. Pretty basic, who, what, when, where, why kind of thing, but the first step is to decide whose responsibility this is. Maybe you have a social media consultant who can do this. Maybe you, the owner, want to prioritize this to kind of stay in touch with what customers are saying about your business, or maybe it's a senior manager. But ideally, it would be a clear, defined role that someone has, just so it doesn't slip through the cracks. The second thing you want to determine when starting out is how often you will check in and respond. Again, ideally, it would be every day, maybe multiple times a day, but the reality is you might need to do it less frequently. The key is just to have a schedule and to stick with it, even if that is just every Monday morning. Next, what tools are you going to use to manage your reviews? Of course, you can manually log into all the platforms, read through reviews, but do bear in mind there are numerous software solutions that can automatically flag new reviews for you, even ones that are questionable using algorithms and things. So If you want to prioritize this, you could have a central platform that you log into. TapHunter for Business offers this as part of every package. There's also Reputation, Upserve, Yext. So bear in mind that there are software solutions to streamline review management should you wish to move forward with them. The next and last bit is, what guidelines do you have for responding? If you are delegating this responsibility to someone, do you insist that they respond within, say, 24 hours or 2 days? Should we be responding to every single review, or only super enthusiastic or super negative ones? I think Jeffrey and I would say that responding to every review is great if you can do it, but again, you may need to kind of pick and choose. And then for negative reviews, what discounts can be offered? Again, especially if you're delegating this responsibility, is it okay to, give a 15% off or a free drink kind of at the drop of a hat, or are there more guidelines? And then last, when is it important to follow up with staff? If there's a complaint about billing, for example, or a screw in your salad, like what are the situations where it's mandatory to follow up with a manager or staff, and when is it okay to let things slide?
Awesome. Thank you, Elena. And I would agree that you do need to respond to every single review. I think that's really important, especially when addressing your consumers. And I know you'll say this, I know I'll say this as well. It's not just about the consumer that you're responding to. It's about everyone else that's looking for a new brewery to go to in their neighborhood, or for that guy that's nervous about his first Tinder date and deciding what restaurant to go to would be best. So, a lot of things do factor in, and you definitely want to make sure that you're responding to all your reviews. So, like Elena said, you do need to have a plan in place. But one of the first things you want to do, and I can hear my boss, Emma Vaughn, saying this when you're responding to reviews, is you want to make sure you're being personalized and authentic. That's one of the very first things I think when you are responding is that you want to do. And so if you see a review and you see that Kyle or Amber or Jeffrey or Elena left that review, use that name when you're responding back to those reviews. Use it as a little bit more touch, and also people are more likely to be receptive to people that are actually using their name. It makes it sound like you actually paid attention to the review. More importantly, makes it more authentic and more real. Now, you also want to make sure that you're using specific details from that review as well. You don't just want to say, "Thanks, Jeffrey, for coming in. We're glad you enjoyed that burger." Well, it was more than the burger that I enjoyed. I enjoyed my great beer that I had because the bartender recommended it to me, or the lettuce was so crisp and fresh. I couldn't believe it. You said that you got it from a local farm. So you want to make sure you're using specific details from that review to make it seem like you did pay attention. You are using your active listening skills as well. And last but not least, and I said this a little bit earlier, is your review response isn't just for the reviewer. It's about everyone else that's looking for a place to go eat, drink, hang out with, go to happy hour at. So you definitely want to make sure that when you are responding to these reviews, it's not just about the person that left the review. It's about everyone else that's deciding where they want to go eat and drink at, and this is why you're responding to those reviews. So now I'm going to jump right into it, how to create a successful reputation for your brand. So I know you're thinking, well, didn't we just go over how to grow your own reputation to attract millennial customers? Yes, and didn't we just go over for a plan to make sure that we're responding to these reviews? You are right. But you definitely want to make sure that behind all that, you have a great brand behind your reputation as well. So one of the first things that you can do to make sure that you have a successful reputation for your brand is, as a restaurant owner, you know it's difficult to provide delicious dishes and great service to your customers. But the tricky part is getting them to write about it on your review sites. So while Yelp, Google+, TripAdvisor, they all have policies around soliciting your reviews and advises against asking for them, you can still use effective strategies to encourage your customers to write more feedback on your review pages like Yelp, Google, Facebook, even TripAdvisor as well. So one of the first things you want to do is you want to make sure that you're promoting your restaurant's review sites. Okay, so, but Jeffrey, I have a lot of review sites. So think about one where you want to start guiding them, your consumers, to start leaving more feedback at. Hence, I'm not saying leave more reviews. You want to encourage them to leave more feedback. So you may not be able to ask your customers for positive reviews, but that doesn't mean you can't nudge them by asking for feedback. And I love what the Pride of South Barbecue does. Now, that's a BLT worth talking about. And I mean, look at this BLT. Look at those onion rings. Look at that slaw. Look at the presentation on this plate. I would probably down this in 2 minutes. I'm that hungry right now. But this is a great example of how you can ask for feedback by just simply coming up with a witty caption, always including a great graphic of a photo or a drink you might have, and leaving a link to your review site. So you can promote this in-house by writing your Yelp address, Google, Facebook, TripAdvisor on the bottom of your
All right, shifting over to the dark side, right? Everyone's favorite. So, oh, there's supposed to be a star here. So you get it? Sometimes you only get 1 star. I don't need to tell you all that negative reviews happen. They happen to the best of us. And the important thing is to be prepared so they don't catch you off guard and turn off a potential customer who's doing some research on your bar or your restaurant. Bear in mind that today's consumer is pretty savvy. You know, this isn't 2001. People generally understand that reviews can attract some negative Nancys and that things happen behind the scenes. So understand that the right response really can turn these negatives into a positive and kind of neutralize the threat. The important part is for your business to show genuine concern, stay engaged, and appear like the professional that you are. So we'll cover some kind of basic guidelines for responding to negative reviews. The disclaimer that I would like to provide before I go into these are that there's an exception to every rule. So, you know, take everything with a grain of salt. Ultimately, you know your customers and your business best. But in general, you should respond as soon as you can, respond well. So respond quickly, but wait until you do know what happened and until you have kind of the full story. Ideally, you know, in case the reviewer was complaining, in this case right here, I've posted, the reviewer was complaining about being overcharged, which is a pretty specific and serious complaint. So you can see the response here, which is a bit long, and, you know, you could certainly argue might have been better addressed in a personal message. It still does show that this particular manager did what's most important. She investigated behind the scenes with staff, and you can see her outlining some really clear facts facts about the restaurant's process and shows that they are actually very conscientious when it comes to charging people. So as a bystander, you can immediately see that this manager and the restaurant care deeply about this, take customer experience seriously, and actually do have a good process and system in place, which again kind of ultimately turns this negative into a positive by casting the review into question. The next tip is to be professional. I would argue this is the most difficult of all the tips, but you really do have to take the emotion out of it. And you know, being in customer service and dealing with patrons all day long, you guys are pros at this, no doubt, but the same thing that would apply in person applies online. They can be emotional, but your business shouldn't be. Consider that you can move the conversation to a private channel as well if it requires some in-depth back and forth. So, you know, a simple, I'm so sorry to hear this, here's my email, or can you please, you know, on Facebook, for instance, direct message us and we can work through this. In this particular example, there's a kind of personal attack against the staff being caught in their little dramatic worlds. So certainly something that could trip up the best of us, but you can see here the manager does a great job responding professionally. They say they're sorry to hear that the reviewer has a bad experience, so acknowledging their frustration. They invite the reviewer to tell more, they're taking it seriously, and then they do turn that negative into a positive by explaining that you know, many of the patrons at this bar are friends with staff, and you know, it's kind of a fun community environment. And then last but not least, they offer to make it right. So this response is excellent. I love it because it really humanizes the bar, sounds authentic. And again, if you are reading this response to this review online, I think you can rest assured that if you come to this bar, it's actually going to be, ironically, a very friendly and welcoming place. Next, we have know when to push back. Certainly, again, don't get down in the weeds, take the high road, but you also don't have to apologize for something if your business isn't actually at fault. And it's important to kind of appreciate the nuance there. So in this example, this reviewer is complaining about the bar being dirty, which is a pretty specific kind of thing. The response here is, again, polite. Thanks for coming in and checking us out. But it does kind of push back because it's appropriate in this case. No, we actually have a professional cleaning crew that comes in 3 days a week. Maybe it was the popcorn machine. So again, you're really writing this response for everybody else who's looking at reviews, and don't be afraid to push back if you need to. And then last, we have keep it simple. Don't go through, you know, a comment point by point. That isn't always necessary. A simple, we heard you, you know, we're sorry, here's how we'll make it right, does the trick. And that's kind of goes back to keeping the emotion out of it. All right, so now that we've covered the basics, we'll cover some pro tips. And the first of these is that a little personality goes a long way. I think that with Yelp, you know, especially being so popular for so long, people understand, again, that negative reviews, particularly on Yelp, happen. And a lot of businesses have increasingly been dealing with these with humor, which I think can work very effectively in some cases. Those of you here in San Diego, and I'm sure there are other bars across the country, will know of a particular bar down in Little Italy that had its staff read negative Yelp reviews out loud, and then they piped them in the bathroom. And you know, that's actually hilarious and really does a good job of kind of humanizing the bar to customers who have visited you. I wouldn't say that irreverent approach works for everyone, but again, don't be afraid to humanize yourself and your staff by using an authentic and personal tone. And if yours happens to be a bit more humorous or witty, even sarcastic in certain cases, I would say it's okay to add your personality to the mix when responding to reviews. The next pro tip is that sometimes you don't have to respond. Certainly you'll want to respond in the majority of cases, but if a review really has nothing to do with your bar and kind of on its face is just a non sequitur almost, doesn't relate to you, then it's fine to let it slide. Again, today's consumers are pretty savvy and they can read between the lines. So, in this case, it's a complaint. Again, the San Diego people will laugh at this one, but the complaint is about the official beer of SD, and it really has nothing to do with the bar being reviewed. So just let it slide. It's fine. Related to that, you can actually dispute reviews. Little known fact for some. Yelp, Facebook, and Google, of course, the big ones, have some pretty detailed guidelines. I won't go into them step by step, pretty apparent from a Google search, but there are pretty, I would say, common circumstances where you can complain about a review. Yelp, for example, conflict of interest. If you have an old employee who's let go and then badmouth your business, you can absolutely complain about that. If a review, kind of like the last one we looked at, actually wasn't about the reviewer's experience, you can try to get it taken down. So reviews that speak only to a business's hours, offerings, or policies are actually subject to removal on Yelp. This information might be interesting or helpful to customers, but it's not sufficient for a review, and Yelp will let you take it down. So bear in mind that you might have some options. And then Facebook and Google, things that are offensive or are blatantly not about your business can be taken down. And then the last pro tip is to think about what you can learn from these reviews. Reviews are your eyes on the ground in a lot of ways, and they're a good pulse on your business. They can give you really valuable intel. Are you seeing any trends? Maybe there's numerous complaints about that new salad you added, or maybe there's a particular beer that people don't like, or a staff member who is doing a great job or a bad job. Again, I think it's important to kind of stay on top of these because they can help you pinpoint issues that you can address. And bear in mind, again, using software tools will typically allow you to map your average rating over time. TapHunter does this, for instance, and that can also be a good way to flag any issues before they go out of control. So if your reviews are slowly sliding down and down and down, then that tells you there's a larger problem, and at a higher level as the owner or GM, maybe there's something that you can fix. All right, so the next section, and I do believe this is the last one before we get into your questions, is Instagram and why informal reviews on Instagram are important. So beyond the major sites, it's important to consider how your business is being portrayed on other more informal sources of reviews. I would say Twitter would be the other big one here. Just because a particular social media site or platform doesn't have a review widget built in doesn't mean that your customers aren't spreading the word about your business there. So I'm going to share some tips on Instagram specifically and their location tagging feature, which can help you monitor customer experience and is really a great opportunity for engaging and driving more customers to your bar or restaurant. So just a quick refresher for those who don't know, there are two primary ways people can tag you on Instagram. We all know that you can tag someone's handle. Whoever manages the Instagram account will get a notification. So BarrelWorks, anytime that FW_BarrelWorks is tagged, will get a notification. But you will not get a notification if someone simply tags your physical location, which is what that arrow is pointing to. You have to search for these yourself, which, yes, is annoying. We have some tips on a blog post on TapHunter, actually, which I'll share the link in a moment, where you can see exactly how to do this, the steps. But it is well worth doing this because when someone finds your location and clicks on it, they will see all the posts which have been tagged there, which is a huge opportunity for you to kind of build a positive brand reputation. They will also see at the top of that screen a physical map of your address, which is as good as giving them a little kick to go, step into their car and drive and check out your spots. So this is a really great opportunity. It's also for this reason that I would recommend that you tag your own location in all of your Instagram posts to make it easy for viewers to locate you and ensure that when someone comes across your location and clicks it, they're seeing what you want them to see. So they're seeing a gorgeous, artfully composed piece like this that really does make you crave whatever beer that is. Some basic guidelines for Instagram posts that are tagged at your location are to like and comment on every post. Keep it simple and authentic. Bear in mind that much more so than the other platforms we discussed, even Facebook, I would argue, Instagram is a very informal and personal platform. So it's okay to really make it more of an authentic one-to-one reaction, more like a text message versus an email, if that makes sense. So a simple, nice to see you, come back soon works great. Try to emphasize that, again, that human-to-human interaction. Of course, it kind of goes without saying that there may be times when a comment or like is inappropriate. A lot of people nowadays will tag a location even if the post isn't really about that location. So again, if the post is about a birthday dinner and doesn't really mention the food at your restaurant or something similar, it could absolutely come off as creepy to post a comment. So do limit your engagement to posts that are talking about your great service or your cocktails. And then, as Jeffrey said, repost rave reviews. If a guest shares a great review, consider reposting it to your profile. Of course, you should direct message the person first to request permission, but reposting is a great idea. We're actually working in some great repost features to our TapHunter digital signage as well, where you can share these posts up on your digital menu. And then in our social post composer, we'll have some suggestions for posts that are recent reviews. So it's always a good idea to take advantage of these opportunities. So here are some real examples of opportunities to engage. I found these on Instagram where there are kind of a lot of eyeballs. And the first one is a gorgeous photo of tacos that, again, to Jeffrey's point, has me wishing lunch were a little bit sooner. You can see this post got 44 likes and a comment from someone else about drooling over these tacos. So this is a fantastic opportunity for this particular beer and wine bar to have commented. Again, what I would recommend that Hermanos Craft Beer and Wine Bar do, because clearly they have amazing food, is to like this post and say something like, "So glad you enjoyed our carnitas tacos. Hope to see you next Taco Tuesday." So not too salesy, but also providing a little bit of useful information, a little bit of a tease about the food. You never know when one of those 45 plus people who saw this post might be inspired to come, check out the restaurant. The one on the right, I love. This is actually one of those dog Instagram accounts. This video has 2,200 views. That's a lot of people. Think about the last time you got 2,200 views, that you did really nothing to make that happen. That's free exposure. A simple, personable comment like, "Thanks for coming. Our staff love seeing your beautiful dogs." That would be perfect in this instance. It's personal. It's, humanizes your brand, and it reinforces the sense that your brewery is a positive, welcoming place. Some other tips for Instagram: bear in mind that you can do things like invite the poster to direct message you for a special offer. So this might be a good thing to do if your bar is newer and you're trying to build up your following. Every time you get a post that tags you, you could message and, give them a free beer or 15% off or something. It's a good way to start getting some of these customers who clearly love your bar and restaurant to become even more loyal, bring their friends. Good way to get that word of mouth marketing going. And with that, I think we'll open it up to questions, unless Jeffrey has some comments.
No, let's go ahead and start diving into questions. So if anyone has any questions they would like us to answer, whether that be about reputation and management, social media, please put them in the chat box. We are ready for those questions. But just to quietly recap, started out with how to grow your online reputation, be attracted to those millennial customers. You definitely want to make sure you're doing that. Next, we talked about how to create a successful reputation for your brand. After that, going to how to strategize and respond to reviews. A lot of great tips and tricks there to make sure that you have a plan in place. Also, how to respond effectively to negative reviews. You definitely want to make sure you're responding to them, not just your positive reviews. More importantly, you want to remember that it's not just about the person that left the review, it's about everyone else. And last but not least, why informal reviews on Instagram are important. Instagram, like Elena said, has a lot of eyes on that page, so you definitely want to make sure that you're on that pages or on that site as well, and you engage with your audience through those reviews as well. So any questions you have, feel free to put them in the chat box, and we're ready for them. I know one question. So this is this is kind of crazy. I actually did a live event not too long ago, and somebody recently asked me, well, if I do I need to respond to every single review, and if so, how often? But what if I have reviews from years and years ago? And I was like, so I told the business owner, responding to all your reviews, of course, is important. I would suggest responding within 24 to 48 hours, but everyone can't do that. We know as business owners, you're crazy busy, so you don't, time is not always on your side. So do respond to them when you get a chance, even if you have reviews that are from years and years ago. You never know what responding to that review could do. Let's say it's a negative review and you respond back to it, that might have that person change their mind. More importantly, they might come back into your business as well. Or if it's a positive review and it's been a while since you've responded to that, still respond to all of your reviews no matter what.
Yeah, I would just to kind of echo what you said, Jeffrey. I would think of many of these review sites, which again, Google, they always say, have you Googled your own name recently? Google your business name. Um, very frequently, Yelp or Facebook will show up right at the top. So especially for most bar and restaurant websites, which are tend to be smaller, chances are, Facebook, Yelp, they will show up right at the top when people are searching for you online. And really, in many ways, these are extensions of your website. That's how you should be thinking of these sites. So, Jeffrey's right. It's like cleaning up your old pages. Yeah, don't be afraid to respond to reviews that are older if you haven't really been on top of this for a while.
Definitely, and like you just said, it's an extension of your business. More importantly, it's an extension of your brand and your reputation as well. Um, I know whenever I would leave the house or go to different gatherings in different organizations, they're like, don't forget when you walk out of these doors, your representation of our brand and of our group. So that's another thing. Whenever you're out and about, you're engaging in the community, definitely remember that your brand just does not stop when people walk into your store or if after they check out your social media sites, it's every single place that you go as well.
Something else that I know people might wonder, when responding to reviews, um, should you use, a personal name or should you just be more general and kind of respond on behalf of the bar or restaurant? I would definitely advise being more personal and human. So on Yelp, of course, you have to upload a photo and be a real person, but um, kind of where this comes into play, I would say would be more on Facebook, where a lot of times you would be messaging with people back and forth. I would always encourage brands to respond with, signing a personal name. So even if you are responding on behalf of, Tony's Barbecue, if this is, Jeffrey, I would type your response and sign it Jeffrey, just to really humanize that interaction. I think that goes a long way towards, um, again, building your brand and making your establishment seem really welcoming.
Very true. And Elena, I can agree with you more. And I think I mentioned this whenever we were talking about responding to your reviews and after talking about having that plan. One of the first things I said is being personalized. And I know that's a huge thing that that really does strike up a chord with your audience is if you are using their first name, they're like, oh, this person actually knows me, or they actually took time to read my review. And that's just feedback that your consumers are giving your business. So I would always suggest, like you said, using their name makes it more personable, makes it more authentic, and makes the business come alive even when it's online. We have a few more minutes left, and I know you're probably going to think of all these questions whenever we leave this webinar. But before we wrap up, I did want to say a huge thank you to Elena for being here today and giving out this great content on reputation management from TapHunter. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks so much, Jeffrey, for inviting us. We really appreciate the opportunity to talk with everybody.
Yes, definitely. And also a huge shout out to Caroline, our marketing and brand communications manager, putting out those awesome links in the chat box today. Feel free to click those, look at our blog, get some more helpful hints and tricks about making sure that you have a great reputation online for your bar, your restaurant, or your brewery. And like I said, if you have any more personal questions about your social media sites, you want a more one-on-one look, if I can talk today, sorry everyone, feel free to click this link, and one of our marketing executives will get in touch with you right away. And now I know also Elena had a link in here as well. She just put her email in there. I need to do that as well.
You just email me.
Any questions that y'all might have, feel free to email us. We're here for you guys. We are the experts, so we definitely want to make sure you're getting the right answers. But want to say a huge thank you to everyone that joined us today. I hope you have a great rest of your week. You will be getting a recording of this webinar later today. If not, feel free to email one of us and we'll make sure that you get that. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for tuning in today.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for joining.